conversation going.
So, for instance, a dichotomy of that would be the absolute genius that was ABBA.
ABBA are fantastic.
And yet the fact
ABBA are
that
fantastic.
ABBA, at the same time as being genius, are also fantastic middle of the road pop music.
Yeah,
they are both. There's not many people like I could also call up, and I know I'll get absolutely ruined for this, but people like Queen are in their own. They're in their own genre.
They're in their own category.
Although they made great rock music, they also made great pop music.
Yeah,
and they were genius, all of them. Genius.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with pop music.
No,
it's just the dross that we get these days.
The only music I listen to is good music.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody says that. Yeah.
Well, but that's my opinion on what I listen to. I listen.
Everybody's idea of good music is subjective.
Yeah. Of course, but because I'm really, really old, as Russ just pointed out, my music, I lived through the best. My formative music year was 1971, and you look at what came out of that. Look at what came out of that. Everything came out of that. Post Beatles, who were fantastic. Post Stones, who were great. Beach Boys, all that. We had David Bowie, Kate Bush, all those people.
Yeah, the 70s were brilliant. Yeah.
Kate Bush, she's recent, right? No, just kidding.
Kate Bush is
she's become popular again recently.
All these kids, she's only got one hit, right? Running up that hill. That's all.
I was in love with Kate Bush.
Over that one song.
What you've got to do, if you think that Kate Bush is Wuthering Heights, you don't know anything about Kate Bush, right? If you think that's what she is, you should listen to the rest. You should listen to a song on her last album, 50 Words for Snow, called Amongst Angels, and you tell me that girl can't sing.
Yeah.
You listen to that track.
But it's not just singing, is it? I mean, she's incredibly creative.
Oh, yeah, she writes it, she plays it, everything.
Creative, yeah.
But, last night we were listening to Who's Next? That's 1971. Fantastic. And I tell you who else we listened to last night. Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? 1971.
That's a great one.
Yeah, and we're still asking the same question.
Yeah, and he nailed it, didn't he? He nailed it.
There's a channel on YouTube, Professor of Rock, and he'll go through and talk about different singles and different albums and stuff. And there are peak years out there that he's sure that music, just like most entertainment, like in films, 1936, I think it was a key year in film, that you had all of this stuff happen. He feels the same thing about rock. And 71 is definitely one of those years. I think he considers 85 to be one of those years. And 68, I think, was one of those years. It just certain periods where everybody's firing on all cylinders and radio is just playing phenomenal stuff.
I would argue that 83 was more poignant than 85, but
83, it might be 83. So I'd have to look.
Yeah, I think that's maybe a British perspective on that.
You're talking about pop music, Russ, and you're dead right, because this is just my opinion again, because it's obviously subjective, like you say, but one of the best pop songs ever is Kajagoogoo. Absolutely, too shy. What a fantastic song that is! Great production, great playing. But I've not got it. I didn't buy it, and I don't have the album.
Welcome to Old Farts Talking Music today, buddy.
Pop music,
but it doesn't offend me.
Pop music.
I don't even think it's called about pop music anymore.
How can pop music be offensive?
I don't think they call it pop music anymore.
Other than its redundancy, yeah.
It's just music. Like I say, it's the dead internet. Probably most of it's written by AI anyway.
Didn't it?
Well, a lot of those stuff that's popular right now sounds like it's written by AI.
Yeah.
Nothing is as deep as my money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds.
Okay, I'm out.
See, I'm not ashamed to say that I liked ABBA first time around. I've not just jumped on this bandwagon where everybody just suddenly woken up and
70% of the listeners went ABBA. Holy crap!
I think they're great. You got to look.
What else is on YouTube?
Next, we'll be talking about the finer points of Barry Manilow.
Yep. I'll see you guys later. So have a good one.
Bye, Allison. See you later. Have a good day.
We're running the opening, folks. Maybe we'll talk about comics. Maybe we won't. We don't know. We'll be here for a while. Chat's open. So, it's time for you to entertain us as much as we entertain you. Here we go.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network
You're
are those
muted,
of the
Mandy.
speakers and
Everybody's
do
muted,
not
except me.
necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie
Except for
Comics
their
Network
opinions of
or
ABBA.
its sponsors.
There we go.
Hey, listen, just because I like ABBA and you don't doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Oh no, I didn't say I didn't like ABBA. I'm just picking on you.
I know.
It's
I'm
all
used
good.
to it.
There are good and bad about every genre of music, and you just
Well,
can't.
it's
It's like
everybody
comics.
always
You just
picking
can't
on me.
be closed-minded about
Sturgeon's
this stuff.
law.
Yeah.
90% of insert genre is bullshit
Crap.
because 90% of everything is bullshit and crap.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. We can leave
Well,
now. This has
I'm
been a show on.
doing a typically English thing here. I've got tea, and I've just been given a crumpet.
Oh, awesome!
I had crumpets and tea for my lunch as well.
There you go.
We're so British.
English.
Oh, English. Sorry, so English.
Well, I'm having the Southern classic Dr. Pepper. Well, no, Walmart brand Dr. Pepper.
Walmart brand Dr. Pepper. That's
Walmart
pure
brand
South
Dr.
right there.
Pepper.
Is that better or worse?
Allison, what are you drinking?
Core hydration, also known as water.
There we
That I
go.
happen to
Yeah.
flavor.
Water's overrated. Your body doesn't need water.
I have old-fashioned coffee, so caffeinated beans. Oh, yeah. I have a political film I want to show.
Oh no.
It's a video clip. It's only a couple minutes long, but it has some very Marxist statements in it.
Oh, YouTube will love that.
It'll be great. Ready?
Oh, here we go.
No, but play it anyway.
So insulted in my life.
Well, it's Eddie.
He's had a change of heart.
A lot of good that'll do him. He's still got the same face.
Why, you're one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen, and that's not saying much for you.
I don't think so. I'm not sure I'm seeing you now. It must be something I ate. I could dance with you till the cows come home. On second thought, I'd rather dance with the cows till you come home. Say, you cover a lot of ground yourself. You better beat it. I hear they're going to tear you down and put up an office building where you're standing.
They're escaping. Follow me, man. Never mind the men, just the women.
I've been sitting right here since 7 o'clock.
Yes, with your back to me. When I invite a woman to dinner, I expect her to look at my face. That's the price she has to pay.
What experience have you had in a department store?
I was a shoplifter for 3 years. We took some pictures of the native girls, but they weren't developed. But we're going back again in a couple of weeks.
Look at that face.
Oh, look at that face. You know Conductor Hennessy, don't you?
Inspector.
Inspector yourself.
But look at me. I worked myself up from nothing to a state of extreme poverty. Now, what do you say?
Faravelli, you've got the brain of a 4-year-old boy, and I bet he was glad to get rid of it.
You're awfully shy for a lawyer.
You bet I'm shy. I'm a shyster lawyer.
Oh.
Is that so? Where are you going?
Uruguay.
Well, you go Uruguay and I'll go mine. Fancy seeing you here. Well, it's a small world after all. Are you a man or a mouse? You put a piece of cheese down there and you'll find out.
One of them goes around with a black mustache. So do I. If I had my choice, I'd go around with a little blonde.
You see you right now in the kitchen, bending over a hot stove. And I can't see the stove.
This magnificent chest. This magnificent chest.
I'm the plumber. I'm just hanging around in case something goes wrong with our pipes. That's the first time I've used that joke in 20 years.
Is it true you're getting a divorce as soon as your husband recovers his eyesight?
What do you eat before you go to bed? Yes, I don't think I've ever seen 4 more beautiful eyes in my life. Well, 3 anyway. Remember, you're fighting for this woman's honor, which is probably more than she ever did.
I'll tell you what, I'll go home to your wife, and outside of the improvements, you'll never know the difference.
Can you sleep on your stomach with such big buttons on your pajamas? No, you didn't think I was a real detective, eh?
If you're a detective, I'm a monkey's uncle.
Keep your family out of this. That reminds me, I must get my watch fixed. Did anyone ever tell you you look like the Prince of Wales? I don't mean the present Prince of Wales, one of the old Wales. And believe me, when I say Wales, I mean whale. I know a whale when I see one. Well, all the jokes can't be good. You've got to expect that once in a while. One morning, I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas,
Oh, man.
You know, there's one thing that is
They never get old.
That's as Marxist as we get on this show.
There's one thing you can't dispute, that a gorgeous woman is a gorgeous woman, whatever time it was. So you see some of them
Art is
girls
art.
on that, you know?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But the timing of that, especially the routine where he's talking about that chest, it's just amazing. This magnificent chest. No, this magnificent chest. So classic. Classic stuff, folks.
And it
You
never
find
gets
that on
old.
the YouTube.
It never
Never.
gets, you know,
I
it's
think
always,
I think it should be cancelled. I think it's terrible.
Oh yeah, it is horrible. It's so non-PC. It's not, you know.
So degrading to women.
But Animal Crackers, folks, if you get a chance, it's one of my favorite movies. Just incredible. And that's only he's only one of four Marx Brothers that's in that movie.
Yeah.
But the
well,
fourth one
there's
is
actually
is
five of
great guy.
them. One of them, I don't think, got into show business.
He did. He was there for a short while. Then he became their manager.
Was that Zeppo?
I'm not sure
that
which
was
one.
the-
Zeppo was like the good-looking one.
Yeah,
Zeppo was in a
ladies.
few more movies than his
Yeah.
other Gummo. I think it was Gummo.
Yeah, you might be right there. That Zeppo was
Turned
on one
into
of those there with the
yeah.
blonde hair, the good-looking one. Yeah.
Just
So-
classic stuff. Yeah, Chico was the
Yeah.
Harpo was the blonde who could actually speak, but he never did.
No,
on
the guy,
film.
the guy then he was talking to him there. That was Zeppo with the blonde curly hair. Not. I know. Harpo had a blonde wig.
Yeah.
But that guy's got blonde hair. He was on that. He just showed him then. That was one of the brothers.
Oh, yeah.
That closet scene, and I forgot which one. The one on the ship. I forgot.
Yeah,
the
where
name
they're
of
all
it.
falling out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
With 300 people.
That's been
in it.
redone so many times. I mean, it's funny each time, but it never tops the original.
A lot of that humor was tried and true, literally on their vaudeville act. They used to travel the world and do that and refine it and then film it. So yeah, all of their films are just classic.
And they could play those instruments that they used, the harp and stuff.
Yeah, majority of that. Yeah,
but you know why? You know why Harpo doesn't speak? Because he could never remember his lines, so they just had him.
I believe it.
Mute.
Yeah,
that was it.
But he sure could play a harp. It's pretty amazing.
They're fantastic, aren't they? Very
Yeah.
And the horn.
And the horn, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, the ball horn.
And he used to just chase the girls around, didn't he? With that beep beep, and just went. Which apparently he was really like that in real life, surprisingly.
Yeah, Harpo had a weakness for women, and Chico, I think, had a weakness for the horses. So,
all right.
Got into a lot of gambling.
Whatever makes you tick.
Yes. Come on in, folks. It's Sunday Funnies for the 12th of February. We're just gonna talk comics today, or just talk shop or whatever. Talk about what we love. We're glad you're here. There's already comments in the chat. Junko is in the house. No butter biscuits. What?
Don't know what those are.
Hello, everybody. Efren's in the house. Junko. It's a damn LOL. And wow and LOL. Yeah, thank you. Chat's open, folks. So talk to us. Anyway, what else is going on? What are you doing? What are you working on?
I'm working on a perk for my Hatch crowdfunder that I'm not going to tell you about until it's done.
There we go.
Because I've not seen it anywhere. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I've not seen it, and I don't want to give it away in case somebody gets theirs out next week ahead of me. So I'm not. So that's what I'm working on.
Got to keep some stuff close to the chest. Yeah.
I'm doing colours for Only Death Can Save Us 2.
Sweet.
Which will be finished this month. So
cool.
Show you.
Will be finished this month.
Yeah, I've been working on all week actually variant covers for the big Boga relaunch. So.
Oh,
right.
Cool.
Right.
Nice.
Absolutely great.
In some writing for future issues too.
So
when that writing bug hits, I can't get rid of it.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, that looks cool.
Look at that. Look at that.
Who's the guy in the bandages?
That's so it's death, war, pestilence, and famine. So he's famine.
Wow.
Death, war.
So 4 horsemen.
So
yeah,
he's famine.
So, yeah.
The girl is pestilence.
She's pestilence. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a joke there somewhere.
Groucho would find it.
I made my version of pestilence also a girls.
There's some different alien worlds.
Have you never thought of doing some hand colouring, Russ? or is it not your thing?
It's just something else for me to learn. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm really, my focus is on inking, penciling and inking,
Right.
and everything else is adjacent to it. Do you know what I mean?
But have you never tried it? You never?
Yeah, I mean,
tried
I have painted. I have
Right.
painted with watercolors and acrylics. I've
Right.
also done like pencil sketching, color pencil sketching as well.
Right.
But as far as finished work, you know, to go out in the comic book, no, I'm really focused on the inks and the pencils.
Right.
So there you go. And especially with Only Death Can Save Us, it was. I mean, I started off digitally, even with the pencils and inks with digital.
Yeah.
And that first book had a particular feel to it. And this second book, again, has got a particular, I'll show you something, has got a particular feel to it. There you go.
There's a spring.
So it's got that sort of Bronze Age kind of element. The third book will go. So I'm kind of doing a bit. excuse me, going a bit meta. With the second book being a bit more Stalin-esque. So let's see, something like this, where I'm using lots of different panels and you know, making them pop out and do stuff like that.
Okay. Cool.
Whereas the first book was more sort of 60s and 70s. This is like 70s, 80s. So more towards Stalin and Barn and that kind of stuff. Whereas the third book, I'm going to take into the realm of the 90s and have some different rendering going on in it and do some wackier stuff in it. But this is all completely different to the sword and sorcery stuff that I'll be doing with Randy. Where I'll be looking to completely change up my inking techniques.
Been researching and reading. It's been a blast. Yeah.
I've been looking at different inking techniques, and I'm sort of steering towards something like is it Dzunga?
Yeah.
Dzuniga, is it?
Dzuniga. It's a difficult.
It's a funny name. Yeah.
Butchering his name. Sorry.
Everybody. I think everybody does. I always call him Dzugna.
But so that kind of mix between some more textured inks, line work, and a wash over the top of it. So that's the kind of thing I'm going for next.
So you're going to do your usual process of pencils on the computer, then print it out and ink it?
Maybe. I don't know. I might. What I might do is I might sort of plan out on the computer, then print it out and put it on a lightbox and ink direct. I don't know. I'm totally playing with this. This is a voyage of discovery. This one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. There's a lot of it that happens at night, so there's shadow.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of shadow and
a lot of stuff to play with.
But first things first, we've got
pardon me,
nail down the look and feel of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then while I'm doing that, I'll sort of do some discovery on styling and how I'm going to ink it. So,
is it Cull you're doing or Conan? Cull,
yeah.
Well,
oh, we don't want to say what we're doing.
Yeah, you can't say that word. So there you go.
Oh, sorry.
At this point, we're just
I'm pretty sure you can. You just can't. You can't slap it on the front of a book.
Just say it's going to be some great sword and sorcery stuff.
But yeah. So the Shadow Kingdom, or whatever it is. So yeah, it's all sword and sorcery.
Yeah.
And
I've never read a Howard book. Does he have spells in it and all stuff like that, or is it just
all depends upon the story?
Yeah. Magic is fearsome and terrible.
Yeah,
when it appears.
This first book is kind of a setup. It's kind of he's shocked by what he finds. So it's a setup.
And the story we're doing.
Yeah.
Howard wrote in a crazy chronological order, and there's a lot of stuff. You can see a progression, not just in his abilities, but in his his thinking, he grows so much as a writer from where he starts to where he ends up. It's amazing the type of, and it's not your typical, everybody has an idea of what a pulp story is supposed to be about, but there's a lot of his stuff that is just pure literature. That's why he's elevated above all of these other writers during that period. You know, it's not just the imagination he was using, it was the eloquence in his style and his turning of a phrase, and it's just amazing.
How many books did he write?
One. He wrote a bunch. He only wrote one Conan novel, but he wrote a bunch of short stories.
All right.
Yeah, he was basically published in Weird Tales, and then he published
primarily. Yeah.
My older brother is a Howard scholar.
Is he really?
Wow. Yep, he's a Howard and Lovecraftian scholar.
Oh,
right. Cool. That's awesome.
Wow.
I got
that. Great. Yeah.
Wow.
If you ever want, I could probably get him to come on a show.
Yeah, get him on now.
Yeah. When we get rolling along, yeah, we'd love to have him on. Absolutely. When we get around to having this published, that would be incredible.
Yeah, and a lot of his. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He's gone on other like podcasts and stuff like that. We're talking about Howard, and I know he's floored most of the people, and they're not slouches on Howard. He's floored them with his knowledge.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
And a lot of the I guess evolution of his writing style, I also kind of add or kind of subject it to just the circle he was a part of, because just look at the correspondence. I mean, not only Lovecraft, Robert Bloch, Clark Ashton Smith, Frank Belknap Long. I always butcher his name whenever I'm trying to pronounce his middle name. They all kind of borrowed from each other and taught each other, different techniques and stuff. So I mean, it was just a menagerie of different intellectual writing styles.
Well, they were all feeding off of each other like the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
And one would write something that somebody would see, and then they would talk about it and rifle correspondence back and forth between each other. So with Howard, he wrote characters all in sets. Like all of the Solomon Kane stories were all written at once. All of the Brand McMorns were written at once. The Culls were written at once. And then all the Conans were written at once. He had even gone on past Conan and was writing, I think it's Steve Corrigan. I think the guy's name is a boxing character after Conan, because boxing stories at the time were selling a lot harder than sword and sorcery.
No, also he wasn't getting paid by Weird Tales.
Oh yeah,
a lot of them weren't.
Yeah, he went on. He was starting to break into westerns when he committed suicide.
Yeah,
his westerns are very good.
So he was 30, wasn't he, when he died? When was that? Was it 1935 or something?
Right around there, 35, 36.
Yeah, 35, 36, I think.
Wow. I'd have to look it up.
If we've got a long-term plan,
they figured that
westerns are the next thing. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that I believe he was like $1,500 in Weird Tales owed him around $1,500, and that's back in 1930s money, which is a small fortune. Yeah, that they hadn't caught up on him on. So he stopped and started writing other stories to sell. But
it's funny because it's the same old story, isn't it?
Yeah,
literally. The creative person comes in, changes the world, so to speak, and then doesn't actually get any.
Problem is most creatives, certainly the most inspirational creatives, tend to be crap at business.
Yeah,
that's a vast generalization.
But they're busy being creative, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly, and they get taken advantage of.
Yep.
By business types who are.
It's that way in any entertainment field.
Yeah. And so
Three Stooges were exactly the same way.
So you're entertaining, you're making stuff that people want, that people don't want to consume, and somebody else is making money out of it.
Yeah. And saying, don't worry about it, just go home and draw or write or whatever.
Exactly. Or they're told by their editors that their stuff is crap when they're making tons of money off of it. So,
what you've got to do is, and I think we're in a world now where things have changed because you have direct access to markets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now is the time to take advantage of that.
Swindering traditional, what kind of paper do you use? Also the size.
I use I can show you some. I use Bristol paper. I
But
tend
yeah,
to
if-
use 100. I'll just get the pad out. Hold on a sec. I'll just get the pad out.
I use Strathmore 300 series Bristol vellum. And I
Same
use
here,
the
you
big sheets, that I cut down into whatever size I need.
That's what I basically use.
Yeah.
So Bristol to 2 series smooth. And it's 11 by 17 size.
And if you're in the States and you have a Michaels nearby, get to know them, because every once in a while you get a coupon from them for 40-50% off.
Yeah.
Just go in and buy a pad of Bristol, which is, it's great to get that stuff half off and just stash it. It's not like it's going to spoil.
Oh, yeah. Also,
and build up a supply. Yeah.
If you have Ocean State Job Lot, they have Strathmore paper there, dirt cheap.
I've never heard of that. What is it?
It's basically a discount store, kind of
Is
like, and
just odd lots, or
yeah,
we have
that
odd
type of
lots
place.
around here. Yeah.
And they have Strathmore paper in there, and it was like $7 a pad for 11 by 14 and stuff like that. Like all the pads were the same price. I got watercolor sheets. I got Bristols. Pretty much
Efren's in Peru, so yeah.
Okay,
I can't help you in Peru.
Check your hobby shops, I would say, if you have
Bristol
them down
from
there.
Amazon. So I get one of these.
Hang on, let me blow that up, Russ. Yeah.
Bristol paper from Amazon. And that's A3 for people in Europe, or it's 11 3/4 by 17 inch for everyone else. And I use 180 GSM, which is an 82 pound stock. And the reason I use that is because I do my pencils on computer, and I print them out onto the board, and then I ink the pencils, and you get stuff that's the kind of effect you get.
Do you have that in a sleeve?
Yeah, it's in a sleeve.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering why it was extra shiny.
Pick something else at random. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to spot the other paper I used to rough everything out on. That's really cheap.
Yeah, cheap it ain't.
Well, I rough things out on basically it's cover stock paper.
I used to just use really thin layout paper, like the stuff we use for doing marker visuals back in the day when I was a designer.
I use old spiral notebooks.
Yeah.
And just run through it and see if I got any layouts in here. No, this is all notes. Oh, this is no one. It's my expenses book. Anyway,
I do layouts in the old Harvey Picar style. I just do boxes with stick figures in them, just to not like basic stick figures. They're more detailed than that, but just to think of placement and panel orientation.
Yeah.
Play around with it a little bit.
Glenn, what do you use?
Well, as you know, I do most of my work in color, so I use De La Rowney watercolor board, right? So it's just really a piece of board,
illustration board.
Yeah, and I also, because what I do is when I'm doing, if I'm not using board for some reason, I'll just use De La Rowney fine grain drawing paper, and I stretch it when I've drawn on it, or before, whichever comes first. I stretch it onto board, put loads of water on it and stretch it, and then now this won't bend when I put color on it.
Okay.
It won't bubble, but if I just used it straight from the pad, it would. So I'd either draw it first and then stretch it, or do like this is just a blank sheet waiting for something to go on it. But I like to use colored inks, as you know, and watercolors and things, because I do. I color all my work, so. But if I was going to do work like Russ does, just pencil and ink, I would use Bristol board.
Mm-hmm. Regular.
Most of my covers I do watercolor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blow that up, Mitch. Give me a second here. There we are.
Like that.
Right.
This one has more like color variation, but I did that. But then like in the computer, I added the text here and the sort of I kind of in Photoshop did like a burning, like a burning cross.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like a cross was burned into the cover.
Efren says, I use Strathmore here. The price is $8 per 28 pages, A4 size. Yeah. That's good. That must be difference in dollars, because up here a pad like that's about $20 American. So
this is the other
or at
stuff
least
I
it
use.
used to be.
I have my little premium color copy cover paper. It's 11 by 17, and it's like 250 sheets. I think it costs like $20.
Yeah, cool.
This is the I've shown the sorry Alison, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm done.
This is the cover for Hatch 2 that's coming out soon. This is all done on the board as well, Dale Arowney board. We're using a coloured ink. I also bore Russ to death with this, but I'll say it again, I do my own hand lettering as well on the board. So I just try.
You never bore me, Glenn. You never bore me.
I'm sure I do. But anyway, that's what I do. I do the whole thing. I like to do it on board, where they can take take all the colour, and I can just do what I want. I just love it. And if you want to know how I sharpen my pencil, I use that.
Hang on. Boom.
Scalpel.
Yeah.
If it works, it works.
It's got to be careful not to, not to catch your finger or your hand. Yeah.
Yep. Whatever gets you through the night. It's all right.
One of those sharpeners, they're great. My kids love those.
It's all part of the process. It's like we said about the music. You know, you like what you like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is.
Everyone's unique.
Whatever works for you works. Yeah.
And that's why that's why I've moved on to away from the digital process from inking, because I wanted something that was. I wanted to feel what I was doing in a different way. Because again, I don't like people who turn around and say, "Oh, because it's digital, it's not art." Rubbish. Because it's digital in some way, you're cheating. Rubbish. It's just a tool.
Just a different way. Yeah.
Just a different way of working. Now there are people that do use it to cheat, but that doesn't mean that everyone that uses it is a cheat. That's the whole point. So here's my process. So I will use digital for thumbnail, but it's all on the same size file. So because you can zoom in and out, you don't have to do a thumbnail. You can just do it on the file. So I would, I'd just bring it up like this and do this quick sketch, which would turn into something a little bit more formed, which would end up being. And all of these is just like if you watch those videos of say John Buscema, he's sketching out over the top of everything. The only difference is that my first sketch isn't still on the page, so I'm kind of working through the layers, as it were, as one piece, and then you end up getting the pencils there. And these don't look any different to the pencils that I would draw physically.
Of course, yeah.
They look identical to the way that I would draw physically. Again, you've got some lettering on there. So smash.
Snicked.
Where
did that come from?
Yeah, I wonder. And then take the color out. So that's the scanned in inks that are traditional inks. So I take the inks, I go do them on the paper, scan them back in, and then just do the colors over the top of them. This is only flatted. This hasn't got any shade or light. And in this particular, the way that I'm doing these pages for this particular project, I wanted to have a kind of a sort of a Bronze Age feel of the way the color was. That's why it's very broad. There's no effects in it. It's just light and shade and the odd highlight, and that's it. So it's all a matter. It's not just a matter of what you want to do personally. It's also a matter of what project you're working on.
Yeah.
And how that forms, the way that you approach it artistically, which sounds very poncy, but it's true. So, like I say, with the sword and sorcery stuff, we'll be approaching that completely differently, and that'll be a complete adventure.
Well, I'm going to do some work soon. And my wife Helen's making me some quills out of peacock feathers.
Nice.
I'm going to be using those for inking. I've never done it before. I might document it and show the process. And
do.
But I'm looking
That'd be
forward
cool.
to that, because back in the 80s, I sort of taught myself how to use the brush because I wanted to be Joe Sinnott. Took me about 4 years to realize that I was never going to be anywhere near Joe Sinnott, but I did learn to. But I did learn to use a brush, and and as you all know, using the brush is brilliant. But now you just use everything. You use whatever it takes, don't you?
Yeah.
Use pens and whatever it is. You
There's
just
so
get it
many
done,
different things out there
Yeah.
that you can use to mark on your paper. You just
One-
got to
one of
figure
the-
out what works
yeah.
good for you. Yeah.
One of the things I'm tempted to try when I do the wash over the sword and sorcery inks is to, instead of using a wash, maybe do pencil.
Yeah.
To actually apply,
I'll show you.
Thick pencil to it. But I don't know. I've got to play with that. See where that
Probably
goes.
be able to pull a good graduated tone off of that.
Yeah.
What I
exactly.
do
Yeah.
is I do it on the shading sometimes. And I did some science fiction pages a while back, and I do the shading, do the drawing on the board with all the full pencils basically with all the shading on, ink it, and leave the shadows on in pencil,
right,
and then go over them in the color, and it gives you a great effect.
Oh, nice.
Where you get a really, really nice effect. In fact, let me find something. I'll show you.
While he's doing that, I just want to show this off. I ran across this picture again on Facebook not too long ago. Here's the working studio of a master.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we are. There. That's Joe Kubert. That's
He
amazing.
watching him
May he
ink
rest in
is
peace.
because there's some video on YouTube of him inking.
Yeah.
Talking about how to ink, and it's just masterful. Absolutely masterful.
But look at all those supplies there.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Just
He's got a remote on his drawing board. It looks
He
like.
does. Yep.
Yeah.
Got to listen or watch something while that goes on. Plus, I think on the other side of that wall, where the chairs are, there's an entire bank of file cabinets.
Yeah.
Where is he
well,
though? Because he's got about 15 chairs there.
He's at his studio.
Yeah.
His house.
Right.
Yeah. Or in his studio itself, or at the school. I don't know. It's wherever he works.
Yeah.
Or wherever he was working, I should say.
That's a serious drawing board he's got there, isn't it?
That is
Isn't
a
it?
major architectural drawing board. Yeah.
It's about the size of an aircraft carrier, isn't it?
It's bloody big. I used to have one like that.
Yeah, it looks like a industrial drafting table. He just
That's what it is. Yeah.
I had one on pneumatic risers or whatever it was. Yeah, I mean it was huge.
Way up in the upper right here, you can barely see it. It's got stuff taped to it. It's his light table.
That's his light box. Yeah,
that's his light box. Yeah.
The light boxes used to be so big and clunky.
Oh yeah.
And now you can. I've got one under the desk. They're so slim.
Just use Photoshop anymore. Just light box it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what I do with my pencils. Is I don't using layers in Clip Studio to pencil is effectively like using my paper over the top of a light box with photocopies and all the stuff that you used to use to make a penciled page. So it's just a different way of doing it.
This page isn't finished, but here's some trees and with the pencil underneath. You'll see what I mean. Can you see that effect?
Yeah.
Can you see
Matt
that?
Brady might be in the house. Matt, I hope you're out there listening.
You're getting
Just
close,
sent me a note.
Randy.
Thanks. Who's getting what? Hang on.
Getting close on Glenn.
All right, there we are. Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
Can you see that pencil still under the tree?
Yeah,
it's lovely, mate. Yeah.
What's that with? Was that art markers or watercolor?
No, it's watercolor.
It's ink, colored ink. It's a really nice. It's a really nice effect.
That's colored ink. That's not like Dr. Martin dyes. It's just a straight up ink.
Yeah, it's again. I use a lot of daily rounding stuff. It's just acrylic ink.
Hang on. Let me blow you back up here. Boom.
Just acrylic ink.
Acrylic ink. Yeah.
And it's really nice stuff. I can't afford the Dr. Martin. It's about 15 quid a pop. It's just too much.
Anymore. Yeah, but once you buy one large pack of them, they'll last for a long time. Incredible time. I think I still have mine from 40 years ago.
Right.
Allison's working on a dinosaur. There we go.
Wow. Seen him before.
It's awesome.
Yep, doing this, and I was also working on this.
Oh, there you are. Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually my homework for the Kubert School.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
I thought you were going to say that's actually your house.
My house may be a dive, but it's not that much of a dive.
I didn't mean that.
Berserko, hey, old fart. Yeah, that's who we are today. From a desk of a small press publisher. It's in the house. Joe's in the house. Nice. Joe, anytime you're up and around this early in the morning, just message me. You're more than always welcome on this show. So love to have you on. You're welcome now if you want to come in. I dig that for sure. Yeah. Thanks, Jenko. Yeah, there we are. Flats.
Yep.
Yep.
Doing my flats. Not really sure if he is typically red, but we're doing him red. I guess Devil Dinosaur is red, so why not?
Why not? Yep. Dig that for sure. And says
More vermilion, isn't it? No, Alison? Is it vermilion rather than red?
Are we being technical now?
T-Rex? I have no idea. I'm not a paleontologist.
No, I'm talking about your color, not the character.
We're being technical.
Oh, did you say it was
It's a shade of
vermilion?
Yeah.
Vermilion.
Oh,
Yeah.
vermilion. I guess technically, I wasn't really thinking about it. I just kind of selected a color that I liked and went with it.
Red is red.
Reddish.
But it's not red, it's vermilion.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That's why it's called vermilion, because it's vermilion.
Speaking of,
if it was red, it'd be called red.
I'll start getting into more technical physics talk on you if you like.
Ooh, mute Glenn. Mute him. Just don't let him
get
get
him
away
started.
with this crap.
Yeah. Speaking of discount stores, if you happen to pop into Ollie's omnibuses,
Oh god,
they got a bunch.
this
And
one's
this
for Joe.
is what is this? 175 retail.
Wow.
You can catch that omnibus if you're lucky to have an Ollie's next year. $35.
Wow.
$35.
How
When
can,
I was
how can they do it in such a discount?
because they buy they good stuff cheap.
Yeah, but how
That's
do they-
their
Because-
tagline. Good
because
stuff cheap.
Because the large publishers,
19's line.
the large publishers have got themselves into a bit of a spot where they've been overprinting,
Oh,
and
right.
they need some way to get rid of stock.
For a long time.
For a long time, it's been going on for a long time,
They've been-
and you bring
because
it up, and you're told that you're in some way damaging the industry, but it's the truth. They've been doing it for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
They-
And that's how you end up with all this stuff in Ollie's.
You know how printing works. If you print 10,000, you can get it at about half of the cost per unit as you do 5,000.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. A woman I worked with in a place, I was handling the printing, and she wanted some more brochures printing, and she said, she wanted 10,000 of these brochures, the 32-page full color, and I said to her, if you can go to 15,000, you'll get it cheaper. And she wanted to know how many we had to order to get it for nothing.
Yeah.
no,
Honestly,
that's not the way this works.
That's a true story. She said, "Oh, really? Yeah, it'll be whatever the price was, but if you order another 5,000, you'll get it cheaper." Oh, how many do we need before it's free? No.
It doesn't work.
I don't
like
think
that.
it works like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Which-
it's the same base, but it's the same base amount that you're paying. It's just per unit is what gets cheaper.
Well, as Randy knows, you've got to keep those presses going. So that, it's the money is in setting the press up. It's not the actual running the paper through.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
It's the time setting it up and then cleaning it down and all that kind of stuff. It's just great. People are great, aren't they?
No,
That's the way printing works. Yeah, everything's all in the color matching and making sure the presses are set right. And the difference usually between 5,000 and 10,000 is 15-20 minutes on the print time and the amount of paper that they run. So
That's right.
you get them per unit really cheap. So DC would order Marvel or all of these companies really, because I've seen discount stuff from Boom and Xenoscope and IDW up there at in Ollie's. They'll take the extras and they'll warehouse them, and then they'll decide how long they want them sitting in the warehouse. Then what they'll do is that they'll have Diamond blow them out to retailers first, offer them up for like, I don't know, 50, 65 bucks a hit or whatever. It is normally they sell at 50 to 55% off of the retail price to the retailers. Retailers get a crack at them, and then 3 or 4, 6 months later, they'll sell them to Ollie's for pennies on the dollar. And then Ollie's turns around and makes whole displays. That my local Ollie's had Golden Age Green Arrow, had a couple of Superman Golden Age omnibuses like this, had the number 3 Wonder Woman omnibus there. They even had large collections, and I didn't know it was ever collected. I almost bought it, but they had a collection of the old Mike Sikowski Wonder Womans back when they Diana rigged her.
I was listening to a couple of videos over the weekend, and there's so many people saying the same thing. Why don't you go back and reprint all the old stuff in really cheap format?
Yeah.
And put them in Walmart, get them everywhere, and people will buy them.
Yep.
Manga is doing it right now. Do it. Do it. But there's this, unfortunately, there's this sort of, there's this view that so much of this stuff is not very good.
Well, there's
self-deprivation from the large companies. Oh, well, we can't put the old stuff out because it's not very good. Well, it's better than the stuff. Well, most of the stuff you're putting out now,
and a lot of these companies.
To hell with what's good and what isn't good.
Yeah,
you've got a massive library of stuff. Put it out there and let the market decide if it's good.
And whoever's doing that, I think it's Viz. I'm not sure. It's probably some other manga printer. They are printing incredibly inexpensive manga on newsprint and sticking them into 5 and belows, and they are making a killing. All of these books, you're getting $10, $15 worth of content for $5.
Yeah.
And it's all great. You can pick up the first 5 volumes of Attack on Titan, for example, for $25 for the cost of pretty much picking up one of the larger volumes. And granted, they're smaller. They're about Reader's Digest size, if you know how that is, or a little bigger than your typical anime size. I mean, just a hair larger. But all of that stuff's worth reading if you can stand to go from right to left, up to down.
Wasn't it?
You want to read a book backwards? There's some great stuff out there.
Wasn't it Dan Didio that said a couple of years back before he was fired, saying, "Oh well, we just can't understand it. The reprints we're putting out are selling better than the stuff we."
I wonder why
they were doing facsimile editions. Yeah.
Whatever you think about the content, think about it from a business perspective.
Yeah.
Lean into it, you idiots. Lean into it. Get the stuff out there and just sell it. Yeah. Because people will read it, and then you can make money, and then you can do what you like.
Comics aren't in the overall comics are not in the slump that all these news agencies and stuff are talking about, because they only focus on the new stuff from Marvel and DC.
Yeah,
everything else is picking up because people want to read comics.
Well, since the bug hit, the collector's market has boomed.
It's not
literally boomed.
But it's not just the collector's market. You shouldn't be aiming for the collector's market. I guarantee you that 99% of the manga market is not collectors.
Yeah.
Okay, it's people reading.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Getting it and reading the content. And those are the things that you should be doing. You should be entertaining people.
Yep.
And it's like diminishing returns from the Western comic market, from the direct market, where it's the audience is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah,
because they're not out in Walmart, they're not out in places organized well, so that kids can see them and go, "Oh, they make comics."
I went into Forbidden Planet on Friday in Manchester, and I said this before. It's just there's only a couple of shelves on comics. It's all manga now, but there's 2 levels. There's the ground level and the basement. The comics are in the basement, but on the ground level, it's all toys and dark side figures and Mandalorians, whatever they call, all that sort of stuff. And you go downstairs, and there's a couple of shelves with comics on, and I can't recognize anything in there. You know, I go and look at the reprint volumes, but they're all like £100.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can't look at it because they're all sealed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't
Yeah.
blame them because that's going to be a shop soil copy. But all my stuff, so to speak, is reprinted in volumes on the shelves, but sealed. And all the rest of the rubbish they do now is all on the shelves.
If they relaunched the Essentials, they would make a mint.
Yeah. I have an entire bookcase of Showcase Presents.
Yeah.
Right.
I have an entire bookcase of Essentials. You
Yeah.
know, and I would have kept buying them if they had kept kicking them out. I wouldn't have
Ted's
never
here.
stopped.
Hi, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Ted's right about the nostalgia, but I really look at it from a far more basic perspective.
Print the
You
old
have
stuff, yeah.
massive libraries of work, and
Yeah.
you can see that manga is doing this.
Massive
copy them.
libraries of accessible
work.
Yeah.
Just get it
of
out
short
there.
stories, of done-in-ones. You know, you could print a newsprint book with 10 self-contained Brave and the Bold stories in it, in black and white by Jim Aparo for next to nothing, and make money. And every last story in there is phenomenal. I mean, with just incredibly well-written stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
my,
there's an entire where's Dick. There should be whole volumes of Dick Sprang out there available of Batman back when Batman and Robin was fun, and they had Ace the Bat Hound and Batmite running around, and the Bat Cave had a large Tyrannosaurus Rex and a great big coin in the background.
Oh, he
Just
still has that in the
stuff.
Batcave.
Just classic stuff.
How do you pronounce that guy in Superman? That little guy with a
Mix yes Spitlick
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mix,
how-
yes, Spitlick.
It's mix yes spit lick.
Okay.
They went over it in the cartoon from the 90s.
The cartoon also pronounced Ra's al Ghul wrong, so
Yeah.
they called it Ra's al Ghul. And
Yeah.
Oh,
if
right,
you
yeah.
look at the-
that's from
if you
Denny
look at
O'Neil.
the
He always
Aramaic, it's
called
Ra's
him.
al Ghul.
What's
Mix
that
a Spitlick.
about?
So
Played by
know.
Gilbert Gottfried, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
R.I.P.
the
And the
perfect
Superman
casting.
cartoon. Yeah. Have you heard about Ninjin to manga? horror
Junji
master?
Ito.
Junji Ito?
He's
Junji
amazing.
Ito. Yeah, he's a horror guy.
Any horror fan needs to read his stuff. It is amazing. There's there's 2 animated anthologies based on his work. One came out about 2 years ago called the Junji Ito Collection, and Netflix just released an anime series called, I think, Junji Ito Maniac. And they're both, they're both very, good adaptations.
Cool.
Of his work. Really capture his kind of freaky, completely out there form of horror. And if you ever see him in an interview, he's like one of the nicest, sweetest guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah. Yeah. Most
they're
actors are
always
the
the
same
ones.
way. The most dastardly villainous actor is usually the sweetheart on the set. Yeah.
Yeah, but check under the floorboards.
That too. It's way in the darkest recesses of his mind.
I was watching the documentary on the 1990s It film, and there was the kid who played the kid who gets basically killed in the first few minutes. The boy who gets killed in the first few minutes. Bill Denbrough's younger brother. I can't remember his name. Georgie. He goes, Mr. Curry, you're really scaring me here. And he goes, then you don't have to act.
I think that book was the last Stephen King I read. I think it was about 1,000 pages too long.
Yeah.
So I gave up on. I read it eventually, but I was in and out of it for a while. It was just
It's one of my favorite Stephen King books, but I always skip over the scene, if you know what I'm talking about.
I'm not a big fan of that scene.
Yeah, I just skip over it. I just skip over it.
Yeah.
The wife's a big first edition aficionado when it comes to King.
Right.
If I ever gifted her autographed first edition, she would freak. So.
The white
She's told me a number of times. Drop that hint. Anyway.
You said and done.
Yeah, my local store had a sale yesterday, and they had $5 trades. I found some pretty good stuff.
Blowing you up, Mitch showed off.
Okay.
There we go.
Got Eve Protomecha. I've always been a fan of Ale Garza, and I mean, this is one of the few books I've never read by him. Tony Daniels, self-published, or not self-published, but creator-owned The 10th. Of course, you know, Cerebus reads.
$5, huh? That's a good read.
Yeah,
for $5.
yeah. Oh, they had a lot of great stuff.
Cool.
You know, it's just the covers are kind of ragged and stuff, so they just throw them in the $5 bin. King City by Brandon Graham. I love Brandon Graham.
Okay, cool.
And of course, the first appearance of a character I absolutely hate, Batman: Son of the Demon. First appearance of Damian Wayne. I just like the story.
That Son of the Demon book is fabulous. Is that that's Adams, isn't it?
No, it's Mike W. Barr and Jerry Bingham.
Oh, right. Okay.
Mike W. Barr. Anyway.
Yeah.
Have you got a black and white? Oh, no, I've got. I didn't think it came in black and white. It's painted,
color.
isn't it?
No, looks like just traditional old school comic book coloring.
Oh, right.
Flats. Well, hang on. Let me show that again here. Let me blow you up. There you are. Show it again. Let's look.
That's the sex scene. There you go.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Very straightforward flats there.
I have to dig my copy out.
And the one book that I saw that I actually kind of squealed a little bit. Denny O'Neil and Michael W. Kaluta doing The Shadow.
I have that whole run.
Yeah.
William Kaluta. That's a graphic novel done specifically for that format. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just beautiful stuff.
Oh yeah.
You never go wrong with Kaluta.
Found a lot of good stuff. I always find good stuff at Rob's sales because he has a huge back room. They're just full of stuff that he hasn't even gone through yet.
It's really difficult to find stuff nowadays over here because everybody seems to think that every old comic is worth loads of money.
Yeah.
So whenever you go to secondhand shops and stuff, and there'll be like there's some like 90s comics there, and you think, oh, that would be all right for like 50p each or something, like 75 cents or 50 cents, and they want to charge you £5, £5 for a book, and you're like, get stuffed. I'm not paying that. It's it's next to toilet paper. I want it because I'm enjoying it, but it's like it's not that valuable. It really isn't.
For a book they put 2 million copies of,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, but they don't. But these people, they just see comics and go, oh, they must be worth a lot of money because they're more than 10 years old.
Yeah. A lot of people outside of the comic book fandom community don't really know about the big '90s burst. Yeah,
they're not really educated as to the history, but majority of people aren't. That's the thing.
Last thing they know is, old comics are expensive. Well,
yeah.
Not exactly. Certain old comics are expensive, but there's reasons they're expensive.
Yeah,
because they're rare.
Yeah, it's a first appearance of a character, and it's a major event in a storyline. It's
and probably because they're good as well.
Well, yeah,
that too.
There'll be a few of those.
I go through dollar bins a lot, specifically to find anything Batman related Norm Brayfogle worked on.
I've got a whole bunch of those,
which is very undervalued at the moment.
I was buying those quite heavily in the 90s, which is when Brayfogle was on it.
Yeah,
and I've got a long run of that stuff.
Norm is very underrated.
And anything Brian Stelfreeze did the cover for, because his freaking covers were like literal painted works of art.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he touched was just amazing.
I got my entire Iron Fist run from the dollar bins pretty much.
Ted? Go ahead.
The only one I had to pay any money for was the first appearance of Sabretooth.
That's not cheap.
No, and I did the same thing with Tomb of Dracula. I got it pretty much by serving the dollar bin.
Can't go wrong.
No,
do you know? I've never read it. That was an essential. It was in Essentials, wasn't it, as well?
It's a number of essentials. I think there's a series of 5 essentials that are.
And I paid a lot of money for the number 1 essential.
Yeah. Wow. Those aren't remotely cheap either.
I didn't pick them up. I've never read it. I've seen
because you've got
pages
the
from it,
first
I've never-
Blade mixed into that and all sorts of other stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got all that.
When's that from? Is it the early 70s?
Yeah.
70s, yeah.
So it's 50 years old.
Yeah.
But it's
during
it's
that.
Gene Colan, it's Marv
Yeah.
Wolfman, it's
Yeah.
Tom Palmer. It's just all classic material.
First appearance of Moon Knight is
Solid
in
classic.
Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night, yeah. Not only that, but Werewolf by Night was so underread, which there it is right there. I didn't realize exactly how valuable that book was, even before the Marvel made their announcement they were doing a Disney Plus series, because of the print run on that book was tremendously low. They never expected
at
the
that
character to
artwork.
do anything. Yeah,
Absolutely gorgeous, all of it.
it is just
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of when they were trying to market on the on the creepy and eerie Warren
Yeah.
craze.
How many issues was it?
What, the whole
Two-
run,
two-
or
Yeah. How many
Let me
issues?
cover
Tomb was like 170 something,
Yeah.
and then there was
Issues.
Dracula Lives, and then Tomb of Dracula. Yeah,
And Gene Colan drew all those.
yeah.
So that's
he was on the,
majority of them.
he
So
was
that's
on
hundreds and
all
hundreds
but
of
2 or
pages.
3 of them. I think he did all of that stuff.
So he's got hundreds of pages of it.
of pages.
Hundreds, yes.
Wow.
I would dearly love to do that.
Tom Palmer too, because they pretty much grafted him to all of his work when
Good.
when he was
That
at
was a
Marvel.
good move.
If somebody had the money
They couldn't find
somebody had the
anybody else
money
that could ink him because
to
he's that
pay
unique.
me,
Yeah.
okay, and I don't need a lot of money. Just if there's anybody out there, it's not a high page rate, I assure you. Okay, but if you want to pay me for 18 pages, pencil and inks monthly for a run of 2 years, I would do it,
Yeah.
and it won't cost you an arm and a leg, right? It's like I would love to get into a run like that, a proper
Yeah.
run of a story. It's like that's a bucket list item. Okay, and I've I've done some great stuff. I've been involved with some big IPs. I've drawn Batman. That was a bucket list item. Okay, absolutely bucket list. And then being able to be involved in things with Cartoon Network and with Marvel and what have you. I haven't done the editorial stuff on Marvel, but I'm not that bothered anymore. But I got to do some great characters. So there are some bucket list items there. But the idea, and this doesn't have to be for Marvel or DC or anyone like that, just to be able to do a run of a story for a prolonged period would be a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that I could at least understand and appreciate how these guys did it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
How they did it every month.
I got a
month
couple
in,
of good
month out.
old-fashioned superhero IPs that somebody out there wants to invest.
If somebody wants to invest, like I really am very cheap. You'll be surprised.
One of my
if I had the money, I'd be abusing you. Yeah,
I mean, I've got
that didn't come out right. Excuse me. But
I don't
mate,
think
I'm more expensive
very
than that.
cheap. Just saying.
I would be taking it. Well, that wouldn't
I
sound
got
right either.
I got also
This
this week
magnificent chest
from
no,
the States. I got
Oh,
These-
those are awesome.
Oh, sweet.
first 4 issues.
Blow that up, Stalker.
Stalker,
Yes, sir.
and this particular
How much did that run you?
it cost me half as much as it cost to send it in the post.
Yeah.
There you go. I paid twice as much for the post as I paid for the books.
I bet
okay?
you did. You got
and
them
that-
from the States.
Yeah, I got them from the States, and
Yeah.
bless them, I haven't got the name of the shop on me, but I'll dig it out for next week. But they also sent me a Machine Man as well.
Just for fun.
They just chucked it in there for
Yeah.
free. Either that or it's a mistake. Either way. But
This
one-
guy likes Ditko. Send him one of them machine men.
Yeah. This one here, this is the first comic, this particular image here of Stalker. This is the first comic I copied out of when I was a child.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. The first ever. And my mum, bless her, had the picture. And I think it's somewhere in the attic in Spain. Because there you go.
Cool.
Absolutely love that. So I had to buy it when I saw it.
That's Wood over Ditko.
Yeah.
Wally Wood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's two of the finest artists ever to have
think-
lived.
There's a Ditko collection out there that I've got. I think it's got that run in it.
Yeah. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Just fantastic.
You know what I would love to do, and I don't know the legal aspects of it, is is to somehow get my hands on the Heap and do like a modern.
Dude,
take on it.
you should have talked to me. The Heap's been in public domain for years.
Yeah, I knew that. I just didn't know if there was like legal hurdles, because I think Todd McFarlane did a version of it. And
No.
Oh, okay.
No, the public domain is public domain. You can do your own version of it. You can copyright it, and some imagery, maybe logo, would be protected if you've trademarked it. But other than that, that character's in public domain.
Oh, okay.
So you're
okay,
good to
because
go.
I love those old monster characters, and that's one
why
that I think needs to be in the spotlight a lot more, because just all the different characters that one has inspired is just
the Frankenstein, the Frankenstein out there that's got a pug nose between his eyes. That's in public domain too. So
is that Randy?
There's all sorts of great monster characters available out there.
Zoom in. I want to see the comic.
Randy.
Yeah. Please
Appearance of Iron Fist.
There you go.
This is my Christmas present to myself.
Oh yeah,
That's
I got
wonderful.
a copy of that, but it's not in nearly as nice a shape.
Yeah, I have a beater copy too.
Is that,
but I
who's
wanted
that on the front? Is that Remitter?
This is
Kane, inked by somebody.
Kane, actually. Let me look.
Because I saw some Kane inked by Remitter the other day.
Yeah, they were passing them around as they got them in. Whoever was available, it wouldn't say in the inside. Allison, it'd be down in the lower corner.
I thought that Gil Kane did all the art for this, and yeah.
Let's see the cover again.
If it's Gil Kane, he'll have a GK down there somewhere.
That's definitely Gil Kane inked by somebody. Look at the nose. Look at the hand. There's
Dick Giordano who did the inks.
Oh, right.
Okay. Wow. There you go.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that it was Gil Kane who did the art for his first appearance, because
That's
John
a
Byrne
rare-
did the majority of the series. So
That's a rare Marvel inking by Dick Giordano, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
That
been
didn't
looking for
happen
the
very
GK on here, but it might have gotten cut out from the
Yeah, maybe.
I believe the original piece is bigger. So
It's very much his style, though.
yeah.
Look.
But yeah, I know he did the interiors, and I was pretty sure he also did the cover.
Didn't Gil Kane and John Romita swap art duties on Spider-Man for several issues, where one would ink and one would pencil?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gil did a number of Spider-Man, especially around the Mobius era.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's some great stuff, but that's Gil. I picked up a interview book collection. I think Fantagraphics did, of a bunch of Gil Kane interviews. Apparently, he was incredibly opinionated during his interviews. Gil Kane Enraged, I think it was called.
Here's one for a Friday morning at some point.
Oh yeah.
Oh, first.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I've seen that before. That's
That's
awesome.
it, yeah. Gil Kane, John
Absolutely.
Romita. Yeah, that's one of the ones.
Artisan. Yeah.
Oh,
But look at that nose on
I
Peter.
gotta say,
Yeah.
all those up the nose shots.
Dave Cockrum right there, Yeah, that's why Mobius has the pug nose he's got today.
Look at that.
I've got a lovely Remitter only Spider-Man as well. So,
Right.
Yeah.
so those IDW books, they're great. They really
Yeah, they
are.
are.
Yeah, I love looking at like copies of the original artwork.
Yeah, and there was a show at one of the Detroit shows here where they were set up with all sorts of artisan books. I had no money at the time, just sitting there looking at all these huge books on display. I think they were selling them for like $75 a hit or for $50 a hit.
That's what I find great about those artisan IDW books, is that they're affordable.
Yeah.
So
The
unlike
paperback ones are, yeah.
Unlike the art books that we were showing, like the one you've got there and the Bolland one on Friday.
Yeah.
The IDW ones you can pick up and you can still get an impression of the artwork from them.
I love the character. I love the layout on this piece of art. It's just amazing.
Yeah, wonderful.
And the entire series for me that's comics. That was part of my a big part of my influence youth. Just the writing on that and just everything on that series. It's amazing that that character hasn't been exploited, because the idea behind it is just phenomenal. That's a movie or a TV series that Gunn ought to get on. But
Who owns that?
probably never will. Marvel or
change
DC does.
DC own it?
Yeah.
All right.
I honestly think they have been keeping it away from other media out of respect for Archie, from what I understand,
Wow.
because that was his masterpiece. They won a lot of awards when that thing came out.
Well, it's 20 odd years since he died, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a long time, yeah.
I think the mid to late 90s, maybe.
But the character outside of the impractical costume, the idea behind
Yeah.
the character and what they did with it, it's really one of the first. Well, I can't say that either because of the Silver Age Flash and Green Lantern and that, but they really took the idea of the character and rebooted it completely and modernized it for the time period. That's why he's in a ninja outfit. It's very much during the ninja craze. He's throwing stars all over, and
is speaking of Walt Simonson, that fantastic art we're going to look at on Friday, aren't we? Is there a book like that, a big book like that of Star Slammers? I know that was his first comic work, wasn't it? Star Slammers.
No, he did that. His first work, his first work is Manhunter.
Oh right, yeah, I've got it the wrong way around then. Yeah, I was going to say I thought that was the next one.
Star Slammers was all his though. That's probably the first thing he did. That was all him.
Yeah,
right.
I think the only other person on that was Workman, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
That sounds right.
That's another. I've got a couple copies of Star Slammers.
Well, there isn't
take a look at that.
There isn't a large book like that.
I'm not aware of one. I wouldn't be surprised if there was one, because
there should be one.
From what I've heard, Simonson keeps all of his originals.
Yeah.
So that would be an ideal one to do an artisan book on, just like just like the Aliens book we looked at a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just great stuff. Now that book's got all the Manhunter stuff in it, and it's got some of the other stuff that he did for DC. There's a couple of issues of Dr. Fate and a couple of Metal Men issues in there as well. It's just sweet. I imagine we're going to be spending more than one episode on it.
Good. You should.
It'll be great. That's coming up, Comics by Night, folks. 5 a.m. Friday mornings here on the Indie Comics Network. Always be promoting. That's what Brian came.
I never knew 5 a.m. on a Friday morning existed.
Yeah, when you take your wife into work at 4:30 in the morning, 5 a.m. is a pretty ideal time.
Well, that's the wonder of replay.
Yeah, that too. We're always archived over there. So
I tend to agree with that because I'm usually studying the inside of my eyeballs at that point.
yeah, me too.
Sometimes so am I. But recent bookstore finds. I think I showed this before. I went to this great bookstore in Detroit. 4 stories, old office building. We're talking wooden rickety floors that creak when you walk on them, and just dust and bookcases and books spread everywhere. It was amazing. Just a great place. I only got into one floor, but I picked up a copy of All in Color for a Dime by Dick Lupoff and Don Thompson in hardback. I couldn't believe my luck. They only had $10 on it. That was a book I read when I was a kid at the local library, and they go through and reprint
Kirby
some classic stuff and talk about comics history and different points in time and history. There's a color section in this too that was amazing. Back when I was a kid, that was, who's this Minuteman character? I have no idea who that is. Ibis the Invincible? What? Super Snipe. He's heard of Super.
You can see
Snipe.
why it's called the Golden Age, can't you?
It is. Oh, there's your favorite cover right there, or one of them.
Oh yeah, really good. I've got the original artwork for that.
Yeah, awesome. Here's a Daredevil and the Little Wise Guys. That's a great look at that. Look at that. How can you go wrong with that cover? Just everything happening all at once.
Yeah.
Alex Schomburg was great for that, for the early stuff. Here's Super Snipe. Putting a pin in the ass of our favorite villain. It's a kid in his underwear with a towel around his neck who imagined himself as a superhero. There's some great Kirby.
Look at the detail on
Boyd's
that.
Ranch.
Yeah.
That's Alex Schomburg right there.
Yeah.
Oh, problematic image.
The whole problematic, yeah. The over exaggerations of the cultural stereotypes unacceptable in modern times. Great. Spy Smasher Superman set. Yeah, just a great book. A lot of fun. I bought that book when I was a kid in paperback off of the back of a Warren magazine. And I had my copies was around here somewhere, but I was so happy to find a hardback book of it that couldn't resist. I've got the sequel to that. I've had it for years in hardback called The Comic Book. That's got a bunch of other essays, and this has got essays in here by a lot of comic historians, famous recognizable writers, Ted White, Dick Lupoff. There's an article in here by Harlan Ellison talking about comic of the absurd by Harlan Ellison. Roy Thomas has got a couple of things in here. It's just a great book. Anyway, I got that, the All in Color for a Dime book, and the History of Pulp magazines by Ron Goulart, and from the back of a Warren magazine way back when. So, and I still have both of those books to this day. They're really great stuff. Recently picked up another comic history of comics book. I showed this off a day or so, or a podcast or so ago, on the Tijuana Bibles.
Yeah,
great
Ooh
stuff.
la la.
You were talking about those last week, I think.
Yeah, still going through that book. So it's fascinating because it's broke down into different chapters, and one of them's all about syndicated comic strip characters. Another one's about movie stars. Another one's about famous people and the Tijuana Bibles that were made around them.
Are there any collected editions of people like Robert Crumb and Corbin?
Oh yeah.
Fantagraphics did the complete Crumb, where
Right.
he did a whole series. I think there's like 30 volumes of that,
Wow.
where they start at the beginning of his career and go all the way through and just reprint everything he did.
I have a bunch of them. Also, there's
you
a few.
don't find those around very much.
Oh no,
Well,
Nope.
they're usually snatched up. But
literally,
there's also collections of his work for like American Splendor and some like work for hire stuff too.
I have a collection that I think Dan Fogel, who we've had on this program, put together of all of the Snatch comics that are very hardcore underground material. That Crumb has a lot of stuff.
What about Wally Wood as well? Has he got any of these editions?
He's got quite a few. Yeah, there's a lot of his stuff. A lot of his oddball 50s science fiction and horror material have been collected that are in public domain.
Yeah, I think it could have been Dark Horse, but I could be wrong. But one of those companies did like the EC artists, like the EC stories they did per artist. Like they had a Wally Wood one, then they had like a Jack Davis, Graham Ingalls, Johnny Craig. The whole everyone that worked for EC, they kind of gave a collection to.
Right. I'd like to see a Mort Drucker compendium, if that's the right word. Jack Davis, that just of their artwork, because Jack Davis and Mort Drucker are my favorite mad artists.
Jack Davis, they collected the Mad comic book stories that he did out in one trade paperback. I don't have it. I do have the Wally Wood one though, that they did, and it's actually in a smaller format. It's a lot smaller than a normal comic, but it's still a nice collection of stuff, and makes a great Christmas present when you can pick it up at Ollie's for $3 or $4. $3 or $4. But Wally Wood's got a couple of the Wally Wood collections you can still find on Amazon. They're just beautifully done in hardback. They're reproduced and shot off of the actual printed comics, though, so you get that feel, that dot matrix, CMYK look to it, and all of that. So I've got one or two of those, but somebody else collected all of his early Marvel material in hardback. No, he did a run of 5 or 6 episodes of Doctor Doom that ran in Amazing Adventures that hardly nobody has seen. That was really great stuff. And a couple of his fantasy stories. It's not that thick of a hardback. It's pretty thin. I've got a copy of it here. We might pull that up for a Friday morning sometime soon and take a look at that.
I've come to the conclusion Randy has everything.
I don't have everything. No. I have a lot of stuff, but I don't have everything.
Well, you're the quintessential collector. So
Well, not there are people with a lot bigger stuff, a lot more stuff than I got. So.
That's not my point. You have a lot of cool stuff.
I have a lot.
That was
I have a
my
lot of
point.
shit. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff in the basement. Yeah, whatever goes up, I'm gonna be crying for a long time.
I can completely respect that.
Yeah, that's what the sheet is up for. Anyway.
So
I thought it was a snuff film set.
No. So it's always funny if the copyright is in the front is 1947 and it's reprint. People think it's from 47 then. Yeah. There's a lot of reprint books out there. I got a guy on Facebook now that's collecting a lot of the old Archie, early Archie, pre-Archie Archies into books, early Pep comics, that kind of thing. That's really fascinating. Oh, I thought you were getting something, Russ. That's all right. Anyway.
What?
What?
No. Sorry, I had to answer something.
It's all right. I got it handy. Collection that Dark Horse kicks out of Savage Sword.
Where did you get that from?
I got. I don't want to boast or nothing, but I'm going to boast. I picked this up for $5 at a show. $5. And it's got. I've got a couple of them too. This is volume 1, by the way. This has got.
Is that so? Is that That's not Boostermere, is it?
Oh, it's everybody. That's why I got it, and it's got the. It's here. Look at this. This is great.
Ah,
that's the stuff you like.
Oh,
the stuff.
Alfredo Alcala.
I'm gonna say it's Alcala. Look at them.
Yeah,
you can tell
is.
by the stones he does, can't you? All that
Look at
kind
that.
of stuff.
Look at that Conan face.
Oh, look at that. That's
Look at that.
Is that the Iron Moon story?
That's a good question. I'll have to pull back to it and see it. Ah.
Yeah, it's the Iron Moon story.
Just beautiful stuff.
Yeah. That's the one that I got bought for me when I was about 12.
What dreams
and
may come.
I remember where I was, what I was doing.
Just look at that parrot.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful stuff.
So there you go.
Iron in the Moon.
It's,
Iron Shadows in the Moon.
Iron Shadows in the Moon. I don't think that was the original title for it.
Savage Sword of Conan number 4.
Yeah, I got it here, mate.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've got a. Hang on just a second. There you are. Yes.
Yeah, I've got
That's
that
the
one.
one.
Got it here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Only yours is a little bit a little bigger reprint than mine.
Well, this is the original book. It came out. Yeah.
See, now that's something they should do. Pretty paper, nice bright white paper reproductions on.
I would absolutely suck that up. I would just like hoover up.
Yeah,
one of the versions of that. What's that book you've got? What is it called?
This is just Savage Sword of Conan.
And that's it.
From Dark Horse.
I'm going to Google that now.
Back when they had the Conan license.
Is it like a collection or something?
Oh yeah. No, it's not. It's just Savage Sword of Conan. Yep.
Dark Horse.
Let me see if they call it anything else. No, but it is. I think they have the numbers, the pages numbered. It's 400 or 544 pages thick. It's like the Showcase Presents and the Essentials. That's why I bought it.
800 quid.
Oh, ow. Here I am just rifling through it like it's nothing. Yeah,
that's not. And this says
somebody's dreaming there. I think.
Volume 1.
If you
Conan
want it,
series.
You can pay for it. Yeah. And
it hasn't even got the cover you got on it.
Might not be the same thing then.
Oh my god!
Well, are you sure it's 644 pages long?
Let's have a look at the cover of yours again.
It's got I believe that's Vallejo.
Oh no, it's the same one. £888.
Yeah, that's crazy
Wow.
talk. That's
That's
just crazy
silly,
talk right there.
silly amounts of money. There's one here for $17.99.
See, there you go. That was somebody dreaming, is what that was.
Yeah, I think it was. Savage Sword of Conan, Volume 1, trade paperback.
He's looking for that one born every minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
This goes all the way through Savage Sword number 10. So it's got the first 10 Savage Swords in it. Maybe 1 or 2 stories from Savage Tales. And it's 644 pages. Ernie Chua is in this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. We're going to go through this when I find a better copy of it. But it's got, oh, man. I love this stuff. I really do.
It was $17.99 when it was new.
It's got
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Alex Nino.
Oh.
We're gonna do an episode on Nino here for Comics by Night, without a doubt, because the layout on that, look at that, the sword.
I love that panel on
this is amazing.
Yeah.
You did Dweller in the Dark. Just phenomenal stuff.
888 quid.
There is a set of Dark Horse did a set of early Harvey Comics reprints, and there are people up there selling the Richie Rich volume for hundreds of dollars at a hit. It's just crazy money. People hoping, wishing for a payoff is what they're thinking. I can't see where the value would be in that.
Well, the thing is
that's from the same story.
I bought these.
It's unbelievable stuff.
I bought the magazines that you just saw there. I got that for like £5, 10 quid or something.
Yeah.
So why would I buy a reprint with 10 issues in for £888?
Well, like I said, he's just hoping to find a sucker that'll pay him that much.
And
he probably picked it up for $5 at the same show.
I just looked it up. It's over $1,000 US.
Yeah,
is it really? Holy crap!
Well, good luck if you can make it.
I'd sell this to anybody for half of that price. Actually, you can make it to a quarter of that price because it's been looked through quite a bit.
Yeah, I could buy yours off you for 250 quid. How's that?
And I would probably let you. Only you'd have to pay postage, which is probably going to be another 250
quid.
Yeah. Just insane. Got this too. I've only cracked it open a little bit, but I definitely plan on reading it. 2000 AD, The Secret History. Be pure, be vigilant, behave. By Pat Mills.
Is that Pat Mills on the cover?
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Pat Mills on the cover.
As a younger man.
I picked this up in Canada a long time ago.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, sweet.
That is
Bloody
awesome.
hell.
Oh yeah, Corbin.
Yeah,
my favorite artist.
Phenomenal. Den.
I don't know
Be careful.
Careful.
Be careful.
Yeah,
Sorry,
be careful flipping through that.
Drink it back down.
Boobies are off limits, but dong, fine.
Yeah, well, there's lots of it in this, as you can imagine. Good old Den. But yeah, it's a fabulous book. I'm presuming you've all seen it.
Oh yeah.
It's a great book.
I have a whole bunch of old heavy metals.
Yeah.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
I do. I should start selling them.
Yeah. Full-on shots of Fred.
Unfortunately, it's not Fred and Wilma. It's all the dinosaur appliances.
Yabba dabba boo.
Naked and doing stuff.
What the hell was that? Good
Good
God. I click off for 20 seconds and this is what I come back to find.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I just looked up
okay.
and went, oh,
What?
it's one of those shows now.
What?
What?
I think it's funny how fit Fred is in that picture too.
Yeah, he's looking pretty slick, isn't he, eh?
That's from DC's recent, more realistic revival of the Flintstones.
Yabba dabba. Oh, right, okay.
Hey, Wilma's got a great body on her. Well, I went there. Yes, I
Always
did.
did. Always did. Yep. Meatball don't work that way. Anyway.
Oh, that's disappointing. I'm disappointed now that I can't find that book.
I've got people looking for Savage Sword number 8. I want to find a good copy of that to show. That's in this volume, but that's that Nino story. I want to show that off, and I've got a good copy of. In fact, I have it handy here of Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction. That's got Behold the Man in it. That's an unbelievably blasphemous story by Michael Moorcock, I believe.
They're always the best ones.
Always the best one. That Alex Nino did the sequentials on.
Right.
Just great.
It's just so annoying that because Conan is obviously wrapped up in intellectual property shenanigans, that you can't get hold of these books.
The reprints, I would imagine the Howard estate will eventually reprint them again.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they won't be able to reprint Marvel's stuff.
Oh yeah, they will.
Well,
that's Dark Horse did. Dark Horse did all of that. They went through and reprinted all that stuff.
That's because the whole point is that if Marvel would have done those versions of Conan, they would have kept the publishing rights. So nobody even.
Oh, wait a minute.
Even the.
Yes.
Yeah. Even the estate won't be able to access those particular versions of Conan.
Yes, they will.
They will. They did it. Dark Horse did it.
They will.
Yeah, Dark Horse reprinted.
Dark Horse would have paid. Would have had to have paid Marvel for that.
No, because the rights all reverted to the Conan estate.
They'd have paid the Conan estate.
It's the same with the BBC and Doctor Who stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Apparently, America does it different.
There's this connection between the original publisher and they reserve rights.
Really, it's upon the contract and how it's written.
That's why I say. I mean, I don't know the exact details, but that's why you don't get these things reprinted. Well, it's like Glenn was saying when Glenn tells this story about having artwork in one place and stories in another, and none of them ever get together. Yeah. Because they're all arguing about rights.
Yeah, that was the Avengers.
Yeah,
the artwork. Because I told you it was when I was doing Crikey, and they sent me a load of stuff, and I did an article on the Freo, the Spanish artist who drew it, and I said to the guy at DC Thompson, why aren't these reprinted? Because they were from 1969. He said we'd got all the artwork from 1969, all the 40-issue run of 5 pages artwork. Full color work in a box in the archive, but we can't run it because we own the artwork. Somebody, I think it's Carlton Television, own the Avengers, and somebody else owns the idea or the logo or something.
So I would imagine. I mean, I don't know for sure. Obviously, your connections, Alison, would know better than me on that particular aspect of it. But I would imagine. So, for instance, Marvel won't. They don't even necessarily have to have the publishing rights on Conan for their particular version of it, but they probably own all the artwork.
Well, the big thing is that Dark Horse did it. So they also printed all of the Star Wars stuff from Marvel.
Yeah, from Marvel.
But what I'm saying is they probably paid Marvel for access to that artwork.
Yeah. Well, now Marvel's got Howard estate, but it was the Lucasfilm estate that they ended up paying to run the Marvel art.
Yeah. But once you produce the artwork, I don't know. It all depends on the contract that you have with the people that you're licensing the IP from.
It's probably different.
I have a copy. I have a copy of this.
I have that too, actually, sitting over here.
The Essential Conan.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know my address.
They only printed this once. And it's got the first 25 issues of Conan, and it's all Barry Windsor Smith, even though it's got to be semi-cover.
Yep.
It's all Barry Windsor Smith. They printed this without having the Howard license. Yeah. And the Howard estate told them never to do it again. They sent them a cease and desist on it because they owned everything on it. And then Dark Horse started doing large size reprints like this as soon as they got the Howard license. That's
But
where
they
the
right, okay. But
that's where the Savage Sword collections came
Yeah,
from.
but
'cause
my
that's all
point
Marvel
being-
material that Dark Horse printed.
my point being is that the actual artwork that Marvel published,
Mhm.
even when they weren't allowed to do it, okay, Dark
Mhm.
Horse would have had to have paid Marvel
Mm-mm.
to access that artwork.
Yeah.
There's no way they'd have let it out of their studio without getting paid.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the Avengers thing I just said, where the physical artwork is owned by DC Thompson, but the content is owned by somebody else, so they can't
Your
publish it.
contracts over there are different than what they were here.
Yeah.
This is copywritten 2007. This is the Savage Sword book. It's copywritten 2007, Conan Properties International, LCC. It's not copywritten to Marvel.
No, that
There's
book,
no mention of Marvel.
that book is copywritten to the estate. Okay.
Yeah.
But in order to gain access to the artwork, they would have had to have paid Marvel something because the artwork would have been sitting in vaults or wherever it was.
Oh, they probably just shot it off of stats off of the original comic.
No, I don't believe
or
they
the Howard
No.
estate. That's why the reproduction on this. What's on new? It's on.
No, I can't believe
reproduction on this is lousy.
I can't believe they scanned in old books in order to print it. They would have got. They would have gotten.
Wouldn't be the
access
first
to
time.
They'd
Wouldn't be the
have gotten
first time.
access
Have you
either
seen
to either to the original plates from the printers, or
Just
they
take
would
a
have
look
scanned
at-
in the artwork again.
DC did entire runs of archives where they paid people to sit there and trace off of the original Golden Age books, and it looks like crap when you open up the book. It really does.
What?
So you can tell that they were bad tracings and bad recoloring, and they charged $50 a hit for those hardback books.
Let me show you again this lovely Avengers
That's one of the
artwork.
main reasons I stopped
that.
collecting them. It's just terrible.
Look at that.
Beautiful. Look at
That's
that.
Patrick McNee right there.
That
Yeah.
is.
I mean, it looks just like him.
It is. It's
What?
fantastic.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yes.
But they got
It's
this is the stuff they've got in their archive, and they're not allowed to publish it because they can't agree on whatever the copyright.
Yeah,
Just
that's
put
the
it
way
out.
that's the way the contracts were written up back then, though. See, that changed for 2000 AD in like the early 90s, and that's why the quality on 2000 AD dropped straight through the floor.
I'm not arguing the IP or anything like that. I totally admit.
Yeah, I think
I'm trying to think of
the
the right
Howard
word.
estate probably had stats of all
I
that
bow
stuff.
to both Randy and Alison's greater knowledge on this aspect.
I just asked a friend of mine at Marvel, and he
Oh, right.
said that Titan Books owns everything.
Everything, including the access to the artwork that they printed.
I specifically asked him about the artwork, and he said everything.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. I know over here, it's just as Glenn's saying, if you want access to our stuff in our vaults, you have to cough up.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I
they
do
were-
agree
they-
it's something
you're-
with the contracts. It's how the contract's written.
And
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly it.
Fair
But you're
enough.
also looking at two different mindsets. The United States mindset is very horrible when it comes to comics. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And over there, everywhere else, pretty much outside the States, it's looked at as high art
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
yeah,
valuable.
mate.
There's a harder value to it.
Certainly in Europe. Yeah, I don't know.
In
about
Europe
England,
it
but
is. I don't know about the UK.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've had our fair share of butchering, don't we?
Well, there's contracts that fly all over. But nowadays there'd be probably a different setup, or unless you're like the Howard estate, which is just it's all ours, depending upon how the contracts are written up.
Right. Okay.
I've got a series I worked on in the 80s called Forest, and I've been told that it was all sold to Marvel, and Marvel owned the idea and the words in the word balloons, but I own the artwork, and I'm not going to test this, but I was told that if I was told that if I wanted to rewrite the word balloons and change the story, I could publish it that way, but I'm not going to test that when Marvel's around. I don't need to do it that badly,
There is a John
Especially owned by
Carter of
Disney.
Mars that Marvel printed.
Yep.
That Infantino did. That was originally a Star Wars story, and they just went through and drew an extra set of arms and hands on the aliens, recolored it, redrew the faces a little bit, and stuck it out as a John Carter story.
Yep.
I'd rather
Only it were that easy.
And there are a series of Planet of the Apes books, and I think we mentioned this the other day too.
Killraven,
that they took the Killraven stories and redrew the Martians as apes.
I'd rather just
Australian market.
I'd rather just write a new story and do some new artwork.
Yeah.
Than mess about with faces and adding arms and legs and whatever.
There's no doubt that the whole history of comics is.
Oh, it's phenomenally notorious.
Yeah, a huge mess.
It's filled with a lot of greedy grifters and a lot of just BS. And
you can see like after Alison confirming what you guys were saying about that, about me being nervous about which books.
Yeah,
we
what you can and cannot do. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, because it's like, you know, see something supposedly in public domain, and you find someone coming after you with some, you know, weird contract.
Well, you can still get people, you know, thumping their chest and trying.
Yeah, you might get somebody coming after you by someone coming after you who's got no basis for anything. They're just trying it on.
Yeah.
Well, that happens on YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
yeah, there you go. Exactly. We'll probably be struck by some oddball copyright owner for the film we showed earlier today.
Well,
Somebody
the company Monster.com goes after anybody who uses monster in their title.
Yeah.
Like they went after Disney for Monsters Inc. They lost.
That's crazy. Yeah, because you don't screw with the mouse.
Yeah, they lost.
Candy Crush did the same thing. The video.
Well, that's like Marvel and DC trying to copyright the word superhero.
Nonetheless, and super villain. Yeah. It's treated shit on a national basis. Yeah.
Well,
Mr. Rainbow in the house. How you doing? Good morning to everyone. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Jake's in the house. Jake Pfister. Mr. Rainbow. It's late in the afternoon here, but appreciate you. Yeah. Always being technical. Hey, Jake. Anytime you want on the show, you're more than welcome to. Just let me know. Happy to have you on. We're just sitting here shooting the breeze, literally. Old Farts Talking Comics episode.
Arguing about copyright.
All sorts of movies.
Learning about copyright from people who know better. That's it. Yeah.
Also picked up an oddball series of oddball format of Little Orphan Annie strips.
Wow.
She's an orphan.
Lies down. Harold Gray. Yeah.
Hold on. What is she sitting next to?
It's like a dog.
Sitting next to her dog.
Is that cat dog?
What is that?
A dog. It's a dog.
I thought it was a cat.
That's cat dog.
It's her dog. It says
it's like a genetic amalgamation of random
mutation. Pets. Meow woof. Meow woof.
Leaping lizards.
Yeah.
It looks a bit more dog-like.
I'm sorry. If I ever saw that cat dog thing in real life, I'd shit my pants.
Yeah.
Get the dog.
It is disturbing.
Say what you mean, Mitch.
So it looks like a lynx. What's the problem?
It's not. No, there's something wrong with it.
I got more than one of them too.
She looks
okay,
like
that looks frightening.
Like that.
They look like children of the damned, don't they? With no eyes.
They do with their eyes. Yeah.
Oh, picking on my Little Orphan Annie. That great stuff.
Yeah, the cat dog thing has that disturbing smile.
Yeah.
All he says is "arf." That's why. How you know he's a dog? He says "arf."
Well, it'd be funny if it was a cat that said "arf," wouldn't it?
I'd really prefer to know he was a dog because he looked like a dog.
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was a cat.
I don't want to have to read the dialogue to work out it's a dog.
I like
the hairstyle isn't his. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry, Mitch. I'm just going to say that her hairstyle looks like she had her fingers in a plug.
Yes, it does. That's a 60s afro right there.
Yeah, and the
only in 1929.
Yeah, the dog going "arf" isn't a bark. He's just like mouthing the word "arf."
Big ears and everything.
The dog's had his paw in the plug as well.
Yeah, I have to agree though. If I encountered wild, I would run.
Yeah. I think that dog's on DMT.
That's what Bigfoot's trying to run from.
Oh dear. Look at it. Look at that bottom panel. Looks like it's going to bite her. When it just come in where the dog thing. Look at it.
Look at that. It's just happy. He's following her around. She's a little orphan girl with, brought
With
into the house
mutated
of a big
teeth.
wealthy guy.
And she can't get a decent haircut.
Yeah. Sorry, not convincing me. With
They've
this
tried a number of times. The hairstyling specialist has to work on that. Anyway, they were reprints done in the 70s. I just thought the format was weird because they were able to squeeze in 6 panels on a page, out of a 4-panel strip. So it was interesting. Anyway, the things we buy to amuse us.
It's like those that Trigon Empire showed you, where the big blanks on the page where they've cut the panels up in it. Just print it the size that the artwork is. Why mess about with it?
Well, these stories were so formatted; they were either in 4 panels, or if it was 3 panels, the 1 panel took up half of the strip, so they could still print it on the in that format and get away with it. It's just such an oddball format, though. He's in the chat. Jake's in the chat. C. Michael's in the chat. It was a shaggy dog named Sandy. Yeah. Kind of a mutt.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Sandy.
Russ. Ruh-roh. Those weren't dog treats. Yeah. That's Astro or Scooby. Yeah. Ruh-roh.
Scooby.
Astro was the same way. So in the Jetsons.
That was the same dog.
Probably same guy voices
They just,
too.
Yeah. They just guide them differently.
Should do a multi-generational dog story, but anyway, that would be crazy.
Dogs in time.
Roots.
Like pigs in
roofs.
space.
Call it roofs.
Arfs.
Arfs. Anyway. Hey, folks, you've been listening to Sunday Funnies for the 12th of February, 2023. We are very happy that you're here. We've got a great audience this morning for just not talking, or just talking BS. So, and as we said, if you get a chance, get out to Ollie's. They got those omnibuses for about $35 a hit, $175 omnibuses. Pick them up now.
£888 omnibuses.
Yes, don't dare try to ship them. So, shipping costs will be more than what you paid for the book.
Buy a plane ticket rather than ship.
Yep. The only bad thing about these omnibuses is you can't read them on the John. So just wait till
Well, you can
read
if you have
anything on the
IBS.
John.
have your own coffee table to wheel up just so you can open it up and read them.
Too much information, Randy.
Seriously, people that spend a lot of time reading on
That's
the
my
toilet,
major complaint.
they're going to get piles. Pack it in.
Yeah, don't do it.
Well, I don't read those on. I can't anyway. Too heavy.
My rack is too small.
That's the way it is.
That's why I read single issues.
There you go. Still a good reason for floppies. Yeah.
It's the greatest,
Yes, I'm
especially
doing a
these
floppy.
days. If you go in really quick, it only takes you a couple of minutes to read a floppy these days.
Yeah. 3 minutes, you're done.
Yeah,
And depending on the book,
I was going to
free
say
toilet
that.
Paper.
Yep. I was going to say that too.
Man.
Depending upon
some
the
of that
book.
shiny stuff slips about. Though.
We really hit the bottom now, haven't we? So to speak.
Yeah, your butt,
Yeah, it's time to
your
go.
butt becomes like silly putty.
Jake says, "Hear me out, gasoline alley, but with dogs." Yeah, there you go. That would work.
God.
Yep. The choice of holding bricks while shooting bricks. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Thanks, Jake. Just couldn't have dragged anyway.
Yeah,
Drag the
Jake
conversation
managed
down just a little harder.
Just when we thought we couldn't get any lower.
You're climbing up.
Give us time.
We are out of time. Mitch,
Yes,
tell
sir.
folks how they can find you.
You can find me at Linktree/Celtic Cross Studios, where you can find my website, online store, t-shirts, my email, everything, my socials. You can also find me Tuesdays here on the Indie Comics Network on Dispatches from Outside the Box. I think we'll be off this week for Valentine's Day. So we'll be back, I think, in 2 weeks.
No Valentine's Day special for Dispatch.
Seems like as far as I know.
Seems like a missed opportunity.
It's I'm just on the show. I don't make any decisions, and I like it
I
that
hear.
way.
I'll see Michael's in the chat anyway. He can tell us tell us in the chat. See, you got a show this week. Going to do a Valentine's Day special. Do romance comics. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a subject we could all wander through, probably aimlessly. Anyway, Russ, tell us how we can find you.
You can find me in the pages of Batman in Europe at the moment. You can find me in the pages of Only Death Can Save Us. So I've got a book here on it. You can find book 1 on my Indiegogo at the moment for book 2, or you can buy the edited version from New Haven anywhere in the world on Amazon. In Books a Million, all kinds of places. You can find out more about what I do by going to my website, russleach.com. You sign up there for the email list so I can keep you posted with information that's happening. I don't fill your inbox full of crap, only when there's something to tell you. Or go check me out on Instagram. That's where I post most of my artwork. The other social media links, they're all there over at russleach.com.
It's too bad nobody does an independent, not brand Eck.
Yeah.
Because then they could do Only Death Can Shave Us.
I'm waiting for the advertising deal.
It'll be great. Allison, tell folks how they can find you.
Well, you can find me on the Indie Comics Network every Friday where I do Arting with the Alley Cat, or you can follow my Twitch, my own YouTube, which most of it's Alice McGlone, but my Twitch is Alley Cat Comics. This Friday, we're doing Ant-Man, because Friday is when Quantum Mania comes out, so I'll be doing this sketch cover of Ant-Man.
Sweet. Handy to have that sketch cover.
Yep. That's about it for me, I think.
Going to say, every time I follow my Twitch, the wife slaps my hand. Been watching too much Marks lately. Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
Yeah, you can get me on the I can't think now, past that, on social media, on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and things like that. You can also find me on this program usually every Sunday and on Friday mornings as well. But you can find my work on Amazon. You put my name in, you find all my books and magazines there. And if you want a copy of this, you have to come to me. This is about my visits to Jack Kirby. And you get a DVD with it, me talking to him. And soon, on somebody's crowdfunder, will be the second issue of Hatch, which is my cartoon character. Oh, before you go, Comics Unlimited, 100-page quarterly magazine I produce. You can find that on Amazon.
Another issue will be available here shortly, right?
A few weeks, yeah.
Incredibly shortly. You're still waiting on a cover, probably.
Oh, no, I've got a cover done. It's
okay.
The best one yet. I've done it. I've decided I'll be in my own magazine.
Oh, there you go. You never asked me to do a cover.
It's my magazine, and I'll cry if I want to.
And hey, folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find me over at arrowcomics.store. It's right there. arrowcomics.store, where you can find such magazines as Herobot Zero. You can find Calico Shard with artwork by C. Michael Lanning. You can find Paragon, which is a great superhero tale that I created with artwork by J.R. Harris. Go over there and look for Herobot Zero. He's a 3-foot-tall giant robot who defends his city from large monsters.
For time and a half.
As long as he can do it on the clock. Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Thank you so much. Everybody, thanks again for being here. Thanks again for listening to our show. We are archived over on the Indie Comics Network. We'll run a little bump for them as we go out the door today. And
has Alison been kidnapped?
I think she's run off.
The aliens have beamed her.
Hello. That weird cat dog thing just entered her.
I was going to say, I think it was that Twitch. I thought it was the Twitch remark that ran her off. We can still show her artwork, though. There it is.
Wow.
Check out
awesome.
Alley Cat Show. Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Rawr.
Oh,
there she is.
There she is.
We thought you'd been kidnapped, Alison.
Any time dilation?
By the bathroom.
And since and to go with the theme of the show, we want to remind everybody of the immortal words of Mr. Stan Lee, who says, when asked if digital comics would replace comic books, he said, comics are like boobs. They look great. They look great on a computer. But I'd rather hold one in my hand.
Well then.
I'd rather have him in my face, but that's just me.
Oh, steady
no.
Oh.
That would really make you look funny.
Hi,
How many
I'm Mitch
comments?
Rogers. I go there.
So many comments. That's all I have to say.
That would really make you look funny.
No, I meant like them in my like motorboating. It's a sexual thing.
We know what
Sorry.
you mean. We know what you mean.
You know what you mean, but we're gonna
Stop,
twist it.
stop. Folks,
Oh,
take
okay.
care. Have a great week. We'll be back Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for another episode of Sunday Funnies. Comics by Night. Make sure you check us out. 5 a.m. on Fridays. Glenn should be there. Russ will be there. And we will be talking about Manhunter. Manhunter by Mr. Walt Simons.
If
It'll be
I'm
great.
awake, I'll be there.
Everybody is welcome. If you want to be up that early, come and join us.
I don't
If
want
not,
to be that early, but if I'm up that early,
and
you will
again,
see me in my pajamas.
if you are betting on Scott Rosema being here today, you lost. So
I stopped betting on him or against him. I mean,
How dare you?
He's the most famous person
Charles.
and nobody's ever seen him or heard him.
Oh, we miss you, Charles. You need to come up on the show sometime. He's trying to work his way back here. So we'll see how that goes. All right, everybody, take care. Any last words? Buy independent and alternative comics, especially. Go visit your local retailer. They could really use your help. They need to pay for their electric bill, their ever-growing electric bill. And go through those boxes that are closest to the floor that might have a little bit of dust on them, because you never know what treasures you're going to find down there. And there are a lot. I should probably take a camera into my local retailer sometime and just start showing you the type of stuff that's available, especially your longtime retailers that have a huge backlog or backstock. Just
But don't get arrested.
Great stuff. No,
It's kind of famous last word.
Dusting off books. Yeah, famous last words.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
I wonder how many famous last words were, or how many people's famous last words were, "Hey guys, watch this."
Too many males. Yeah, that's what Jackass is all about.
Yet they're all alive still.
We're
I
still in the
think.
Jackass age. Barely. I bet they have a lot of health problems. Anyway.
I bet none of them can have kids.
The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
It's all gravy, baby.
How do you, people being innocent? How do you be innocent? It just-
No one's innocent. No.
Sometimes you just have to let art flow over you.
That person hurts my brain. My brain cells weren't so much as dying listening to her, but committing suicide. So,
Great.
Come down.
Who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
that hurt more.
That's Sigourney Weaver's sister.
Yeah.
All right, take care, everybody. Have a great week.
Done,
See you
done,
next
yeah.
time. Watch the Indie Comics Network. All great stuff here. So he said stalling. Where is that? I got the disclaimer. Here we go.
Have a question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comic Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
One last thing before we go, folks, get up there to Kickstarter and take a look at that Life on Cora campaign. Here's a trailer for that. Mike Jimmy is doing some great work. He needs your support. Clicked it and it didn't go through again. Here we go.